Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're flipping the script a bit. We're not talking about student debt. We're talking about dodging it entirely.
Yeah, exactly.
We're looking at Italy's academic system, a place that, well, it seems to offer really high-quality degrees without that, crippling price tag you see elsewhere.
It really is a fascinating setup. You get this incredible international experience, access to institutions that are literally ancient, and somehow the cost can be just a fraction of what you'd expect in, say, North America or the UK.
Right.
So this deep dive, it's really designed to give you a clear roadmap. How do you actually make that happen?
Okay, so our mission today is pretty straightforward. Help you figure out how to secure that high-quality, cost-effective degree in Italy. But we need to be upfront about this word free. We've seen some sources, suggesting Italian public universities just don't charge tuition for international students. Is that really the case? What's the actual situation on the ground?
Yeah, that's the crucial distinction. The reality is, while the base costs are incredibly low compared to many places, they aren't usually zero across the board for everyone. We found documented charges for public universities, and they generally sit somewhere between, say, 500 and 4,000 euro per year. Now, that range, it really depends heavily on your family's income.
Ah, right, the income assessment.
Exactly. So the true zero-cost enrollment, the dream scenario that's almost exclusively accessed by securing need-based scholarships or, grants for high-achieving students.
So funding is key.
That funding is absolutely your non-negotiable gateway to getting it truly free.
That makes a lot more sense. And crucially, it sounds like you're not trading quality for that lower cost. You mentioned the intensity.
Not at all.
Before we even get into the scholarship details, our sources really highlighted the academic commitment there. There was an OECD report, wasn't there?
Yes, that's right. It's quite telling. The OECD found that Italian students actually receive significantly more required instruction hours than the average across OECD countries.
How much more are we talking?
Well, the numbers were something like 917 hours in primary school and 990 in lower secondary. It really shows these institutions are serious about, comprehensive learning and maintaining high academic standards.
Wow.
So, yeah, if you're looking for a genuine academic challenge alongside that affordability, Italy's a really compelling option.
Okay, so if the goal is truly free or, very close to free, where should people start looking? Which universities are kind of known for actively supporting international students financially?
Right. You need to be strategic. Our sources point pretty clearly towards universities that have well-established and robust international programs. You really should start your search with some of the classics.
Like Bologna.
Exactly. The University of Bologna, it's one of the oldest in the world. It's famous for having active scholarship programs, specifically for international students. Then there's the University of Padua.
Padua, right.
Yeah, that's another hotspot. It's specifically known for offering grants and even free tuition opportunities, but often targeted at those, high-achieving applicants.
What about the bigger cities, like Rome?
Definitely. If you prefer a major city, Sapienza University of Rome is a great one to check out. We know they offer both full and partial scholarships across a range of programs.
Good to know.
But don't just look at the big historical names or cultural centers. We saw examples of successful students getting into top technical schools, too, like the Politecnico di Milano and the Politecnico di Torino.
Oh, interesting. So engineering, tech fields, too.
Yeah, it proves the opportunity is pretty widespread across different types of institutions and fields.
Okay, so once you've kind of narrowed down maybe a few target universities, you need to figure out the money side. The scholarships.
Right. You need to understand the landscape. Generally speaking, there are three main types of financial aid you'll likely encounter.
Let's break those down. What are the three types, and maybe more importantly, how do you figure out which one fits your situation best?
Okay, the first type is probably the most straightforward. Merit-based scholarships. Pure and simple. These are for students who can show, consistent academic excellence, good grades, strong profile.
Makes sense.
The second category, and this is often the one that's most crucial for hitting that zero-cost goal, is the need-based grant.
Okay.
These can cover tuition and sometimes even help with living costs. But, and this is a big but, they require serious, verified proof of financial necessity. You really have to document your situation thoroughly.
Right, that sounds like it involves more paperwork. And the third type, you mentioned it was regional. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, it is quite interesting. These are regional scholarships. They're offered by specific Italian regions, often as a strategy to either address local skill shortages in certain fields, or just generally to attract high-quality foreign talent to that area.
So the rules might vary a bit depending on the region.
Exactly. The specific region sets the rules and the funding levels. So applying to several different regional grants, if they fit your field and location, can actually dramatically improve your overall odds of getting something.
Okay, that's a good tip. Now, the logistics, you mentioned documentation is key, especially for the need-based ones. If someone's aiming for one of those really competitive grants, what's the thing that most often trips applicants up? The overlooked hurdle.
That's a really good question.
Yeah.
Because while everyone tends to focus on, hitting the minimum GPA or proving their language proficiency, whether it's English or Italian for the program.
Obvious stuff.
Yeah. The most commonly overlooked hurdle, especially for need-based aid, is getting that financial documentation exactly right. Proving financial need accurately and with the kind of official backing they require. You can't just estimate or, waffle on that. It needs clear official proof. Got it. Super specific proof. So let's try and condense all this great advice into maybe a timeline. If someone's listening right now, thinking about applying for next year, what's the kind of 4-step plan they should start putting into action?
Okay, yeah, we can break it down into 4 critical actions. The very first step, number 1, is strategic program selection.
Okay.
Choose schools and, crucially, specific programs within those schools that are known to have established scholarship pools for international students. Don't waste your energy applying to places with very limited aid history.
Which means really digging into those individual university websites, right? Not just relying on generic lists.
Absolutely. Do the detailed research.
Yeah.
Okay, so once you've checked your target programs, action 2 is documentation preparation.
Get the paperwork ready.
Immediately start gathering everything. Academic transcripts, getting those strong letters of recommendation lined up, crafting a really compelling statement of purpose that clearly explains why you need the aid or why you deserve the merit scholarship.
And the language certificates. And the language certificates, yes. This stuff takes time, sometimes months. So starting a year out, like the experts often suggest, is genuinely smart advice. It avoids a last-minute scramble.
Okay, number 3. We hear this all the time for applications. Apply early. Why is timing so critical here in Italy? Is it just about limited funds?
Pretty much, yeah. Action 3 is applying early. Scholarship spots are strictly limited. That's the bottom line. And they're often allocated on a rolling basis or maybe first come, first served until the money designated for that cycle is gone.
Oh, okay.
So getting your complete application submitted the moment that window opens means you're competing for the full pot, not just scrapping for the last few remaining grants later on.
Right. Don't wait until the deadline. And finally, action 4. What about after you hit submit?
Action 4 is maintain proactive communication. Don't just submit your application and then disappear into the ether. Prompt, professional follow-ups with the university admissions or the scholarship office can actually make a difference. It shows you're serious, and it can help resolve any minor questions they might have about your documents, questions that could otherwise just stall your application indefinitely.
Okay, that makes sense. Persistence pays off sometimes. All right, let's shift gears slightly. Assuming our listener does the work, they follow the steps, and they actually secure that amazing tuition-free slot. Fantastic. But they still need to eat and sleep, right?
Right. Living costs are the other side of the coin.
Compared to other major hubs, say London or Boston or Sydney, how does Italy generally stack up on day-to-day living expenses?
It's definitely more manageable, generally speaking. Italy is considered more affordable than those major Western European and North American cities you mentioned. But, and it's an important but, affordability really depends heavily on where in Italy you are and, of course, your own budgeting skills.
Right, location matters.
Massively. Rome and Milan, for instance, are well-known cost-of-living hotspots. Your money just won't stretch as far there compared to smaller cities. So planning your budget according to your specific city is essential.
Okay, let's give people some quick, concrete tips for managing that budget. Housing is usually the biggest chunk. What's the typical advice there?
For housing, our sources suggest that looking into shared apartments often gives you more flexibility and, frankly, more availability than trying to get into limited student dorms, though dorms can sometimes be cheaper if you snag one.
Okay, shared apartments. And the number one way to save money anywhere? Food.
Absolutely. Cooking at home. It sounds simple, but it's crucial for students on a budget. The estimates we saw suggest you can save up to 40% on your food costs compared to constantly eating out or relying on prepared meals.
That's huge. And making use of student status.
Yes, definitely. Transportation is a good example. Across many Italian cities, there are significant student discounts available on public transport. Using those can really minimize your daily commute costs, especially if you end up living a bit further from campus to save on rent.
Okay, good practical tips. But even with careful budgeting, moving overseas comes with, well, headaches. We need to be real with people about the potential hurdles, the red tape.
hmm
What are the top challenges an international student really needs to anticipate and prepare for when moving to Italy?
Yeah, it's important to go in with eyes open. We identified a few key things you absolutely must prepare for. The first one, maybe obviously, is the pervasive language barrier.
Even if the course is in English.
Yes, even if your entire degree program is taught in perfect English, navigating daily life, dealing with landlords, shops, government offices, just making local friends, it really requires at least basic Italian skills for true integration and smooth sailing.
Okay, so start learning Italian now. Challenge number 2.
Number two, the infamous administration. This is where patience and planning are really tested. Getting your visa sorted before you go, and then dealing with the residency permit process after you arrive.
I hear stories about this one.
Yeah, it's famous for involving significant red tape, bureaucracy. And things often take much longer than you might expect. This isn't just ticking boxes on a form. It can be a multi-month process that requires real persistence. Factor in delays.
Good warning. Okay, number 3.
Third challenge goes back to money. The cost of living disparity within Italy itself. Just reinforcing that point.
Yeah.
If you're heading to Milan or Rome, be warned, your budget needs to be significantly higher than if you chose a smaller city like Padua or Bologna. Don't assume one budget fits all.
Right. And challenge number 4, something about work.
Yes, limited part-time work opportunities. Student visas in Italy usually come with pretty strict restrictions on the number of hours you can legally work per week.
So you can't just assume you'll fund yourself with a job.
Relying on a part-time job to fully cover your living expenses is extremely difficult, probably impossible for most. You really need to have your primary funding sources, savings, scholarships, family support sorted before you get on the plane. Don't count on earning your way through entirely.
That's crucial financial planning. And the last big one.
Finally, just to reiterate, remember the competitive scholarship environment. We just spent time outlining how much meticulous work it takes to get that funding.
Right.
You need excellent grades, strong recommendations, perfect timing, and that accurate documentation just to even be in the running for the grants that make the whole experience financially feasible for many. It's not automatic.
Okay, so the big message here is prepare, prepare, prepare. Plan for the bureaucracy, plan the budget, plan the application. So how do students move beyond just, surviving the admin and actually integrate and enjoy the incredible culture?
Yeah, that's the goal, right?
Hmm.
Proactive integration is definitely the key that unlocks the full, rich experience. Learn basic Italian start immediately, even before you go.
Yep.
Use the resources the university provides. They often have career services, libraries, language support centers use them. And, maybe most importantly, apply for clubs, student societies, sports teams. That's often the fastest way to build your social network with both Italians and other international students outside of your specific course lectures.
Makes sense. Get involved. Let's make this real now. Bring it home with some proof. This isn't just a theoretical possibility. We found examples of students who are actually doing this right now, using this kind of strategy.
Absolutely. We saw several really powerful examples in the materials. There was Ananya from Bangalore, who specialized in design studies. She managed to secure a full scholarship to the University of Bologna.
Wow, Bologna again.
Exactly. It really confirms that targeting those specific universities known for high support pays off.
And you mentioned regional funding earlier. There was an example of that too.
Yes, a great one. Rahul from Mysore. He didn't just aim for a big national scholarship. He specifically utilized a regional grant to study engineering in Padua.
Padua, right.
And the result was incredible. It saved him something like 80% on his tuition costs just through that targeted regional funding.
That's amazing. Shows the power of looking local too. Any others?
Then there was Priya Naiki from Hubli. She seemed to follow the roadmap, perfectly strong application, submitted it nice and early, and she achieved a fully funded scholarship at Sapienza University in Rome, also for design studies.
Bro, okay.
These kinds of success stories, they really affirm the core idea we found. The Italian government, through its universities and regions, seems genuinely committed to making higher education accessible globally. But it relies on you, the student, coming prepared, organized, and ready to navigate the system.
That really brings us full circle then to the final synthesis, the opportunity for a zero-cost or very low-cost, high-quality education in Italy. It's real, it's achievable, provided you understand it's primarily achieved via a competitive scholarship process, and that free generally applies to tuition, not the significant cost of living, which you still need to plan for.
Exactly. And maybe to wrap up, let's just loop back quickly to that academic profile we discussed right at the start.
Yeah.
We know Italy demands intense academic commitment, right? Confirmed by those high OECD instruction hours.
Yeah, the long hours.
But here's a really critical point of contrast that emerged from the sources. Italy also shows relatively low national digital literacy. The data point was only about 45.8% of the population aged 1674 having basic digital skills. That's quite a bit below the EU average, which is over 55%.
Wow, that is a big gap, especially for a student coming from maybe a more digitally integrated learning background.
It really is.
Yeah.
So here's maybe the provocative thought for you to take away and consider as you plan. How might this sort of duality, this combination of intense traditional academic demands coupled with a relatively lower national digital readiness, how might that actually shape your day-to-day experience as a student? Will you find yourself perhaps spending less time relying on cutting-edge digital learning tools and maybe more time in the physical library, engaging in more traditional seminar discussions? It suggests you need to be prepared to navigate a learning environment that might prioritize that intense traditional instruction, perhaps sometimes over seamless digital delivery.
That's a really essential piece of context to chew on, something to factor into your expectations. Well, if this sounds like it could be your pathway to a debt-free degree in Italy, the time to start gathering those documents, researching those universities and scholarships is right now. Get those lists started, do the digging, and get ready for what sounds like an incredible adventure. Ciao for now.